I'm a girl on fire, I'm not a victim, a girl on fire, I'll stand my ground, girl on fire, I've made a choice, I stand proud, I'm a girl on fire.
That's why I'm still a warrior. I have to keep fighting. But it feels like it's killing me.
And I choose to defend all that I hold dear. Independent and strong, you will not keep me down, you can't break me. I'm a girl on fire, I'm not a victim, a girl on fire, I'll stand my ground, girl on fire, I've made a choice, I stand proud.
Speak out now.
Countless hours on the range, I am responsibly armed. I am your equal.
Good morning. It's an honor to stand here today for the 16 days of action against gender-based violence. I'm Lynette Oxley, the founder for Girls on Fire. Today I want to talk about something that goes far beyond hashtags, placards, or protests. I want to talk about action, real, measurable action, the kind that saves lives and transforms futures. South Africa has some of the highest rates of gender-based violence and femicide in the world. Since 2019, we've seen massive protests. Hashtag am I next? Hashtag the total shutdown. Thousands of women and men taking to the streets to say enough is enough. And yet, despite all of the noise, the data still tells a sobering story. There are no measurable drop in intimate partner killings. There is no decrease in rape rates after major protests. Reporting remains extremely low. Only 1 in 9 rapes are reported. Conviction rates remain catastrophic. Only 4 to 8% of reported rapes lead to conviction. We have awareness. Awareness is nearly universal. Over 90% of South Africans agree that GBV is unacceptable. And yet, behaviour has not changed. Why? Because GBV persists not because people do not know that it's wrong, but for several other reasons. Perpetrators do not fear consequences. The justice system is broken. Families silence victims. Police often lacks capacity. DNA kits sit untested for years, and victims themselves lack the tools, the confidence, and the exit routes to protect themselves. Marches generate headlines for 24 to 48 hours. But GBV kills 365 days a year. Girls on Fire believes in action, not in activism. Protests shine a spotlight, but they cannot stop violence, which happens in private spaces where most assaults happen. In homes, behind closed doors, in the darkness where abusers strike. We cannot change perpetrators by marching in the streets. Real change starts with the woman herself, with her mindset, her knowledge, her confidence, her ability to act. Our work begins by changing how women see themselves. When a woman sees herself not as a victim, but as a warrior, everything changes. We help women rebuild self-worth, agency, and strength. We teach them that they do not have to accept violence as part of their life, that they have choices, power, and options. Our introduction to handguns and situational awareness courses teaches women how to read situations, recognize threats, and avoid danger before it escalates. We look at principles like the Cooper's color codes, the OODA loop, and left of bank principles. Being alert and confident reduces victim selection by 70 to 90%. Predators overwhelmingly target distracted, submissive, or isolated women. Awareness alone often prevents an assault before it ever happens. A firearm is the great equalizer, but only when paired with proper training, legal knowledge, responsible storage, confidence, and practice. Many women report that simply knowing that they can defend themselves gives them the psychological power to leave abusive relationships. We don't just teach women to defend themselves. We give them options, tools, and guidance to leave dangerous situations safely, including connecting them to legal aid, shelters, counseling, and other supportive networks. This is what we mean by 365 days of action. Not only a once-off campaign, but real empowerment every day, all year round. The real choke point in South Africa is our broken justice system. Personal empowerment is absolutely critical, but it cannot stand alone. We also support systemic reform. The justice system is failing women and victims every day. Let's look at the DNA backlog. Today, over 140,000 unprocessed DNA samples remain, some of them over 10 years old. Labs operate at 243% capacity with outdated equipment. Chain of custody failures cause up to 15% of samples to be rejected. The results are absolutely devastating. 60% of GBV cases are withdrawn due to missing evidence. Perpetrators walk free, often re-offending. Survivors endure years of repeated interviews and trauma. And then let's look at the parole system. South Africa's parole system is offender-centric, inconsistent, and dangerous for victims. Victims are rarely consulted meaningfully. High recidivism rates are common. Enforcement of no-contact orders is weak. Overcrowded prisons push early release. Many femicide victims die after perpetrators have been released on parole or bail. Reform here is not optional. It is life-saving. It is important to understand GBV, its global roots, and its local realities in South Africa. Globally, gender-based violence gained traction in the 1990s, and in 1992 the United Nations Committee on the Elimination of Violence Against Women defined GBV formally. The 1995 Beijing Platform expanded it to include domestic violence and wartime sexual violence for the first time. In South Africa, marital rape was only criminalized in 1997. Domestic violence laws expanded post-Beijing. Sexual offences courts and a national strategic plan on GBVF do exist. But only 20 to 30% of rape cases reaches these courts. Femicide rose 33.8% in the 2023-2024 period. GBV costs the economy 3.7% of GDP. The laws do exist, but the implementation fails. Women continue to suffer. It is important to change this pendulum through real action. Girls on Fire focuses on practical, measurable interventions, which includes situational and self-defense training, responsible firearm ownership, and changing the mindsets of women to empower them. We support systemic reforms in the DNA and parole system. Our belief is simple. Empower one woman, you change her life. Empower thousands, you change a country. But it starts with one woman. An armed, trained woman is extremely powerful. It is shown that 90% of defensive gun users worldwide, the gun is never fired. The deterrent is enough. Attackers deselect women who are alert, assertive, and prepared. Confidence and situational awareness often prevent assaults before they happen. Firearms provide psychological freedom even before physical defense is necessary. The ultimate goal is not violence. It is freedom, autonomy, and choice. We stand for action every day, not just for 16 days. GBV will not end through hashtags, speeches, or emotional press conferences. It will end when victims become warriors. Perpetrators face real consequences. DNA is processed timelessly, parole is reformed, and women are confident and armed with knowledge. Communities stop turning a blind eye, and empowerment becomes a lifelong practice, not a 16-day campaign. Girls on Fire is committed to this fight. Not for 16 days, for 365 days. For every woman, for every child, for South Africa and the women of the world. Girls and Girls on Fire, have your sex. Thank you.